Evening peeps, good evening everyone. How's everyone doing? Hopefully you guys are all doing well. Don't forget, hit that subscribe button. If you guys are new to the channel, don't forget as well to like and share the vids. All right, let's just jump straight in to this. Let's see what there is to talk about from the world of boxing today. Let's start with this one. Guerdi versus Stavern now tops Don King card on January 21st. Makabu versus McLean is off. Don King still going, eh? Still going. I thought that Daniel Dubois, Trevor Bryan might be the end. But no, another card, January 21st. Surely this isn't Bermain Stavern. So a quick look. I mean, I know there probably isn't any other Stavern, but Bermain Stavern still going. What is he now? 44, 45? One of the worst heavyweight world champions in recent memory. And I don't mean to be disrespectful. I mean, look, it would always be associated with you, right, that you were a champion, but one of the worst. It is Bermain Stavern. He takes on Jonathan Guerdi. Never really heard of this Guerdi kid. 18-1. Stavern's last 3 fights have all ended in knockout defeats. To say he's been inactive is an understatement. I'll say last 3. Deontay Wilder was 2017. Joe Joyce 2019, and he fought Trevor Bryan at the start of last year. Again, all ended in knockout defeats. And we all saw how bad Trevor Bryan was against Daniel Dubois. So for Trevor Bryan to sleep him, you know how bad Stavern is right now. Look, these fighters, man, they don't want to stop. They don't want to stop boxing. Hopefully it's not the case, but boxing sometimes stops them. Crazy. Let's see what else we have here. Javonte Davis claps back at Shakur Stevenson. He doesn't have power. I hit like a strong cruiserweight. I don't think you hit like a strong cruiserweight. I mean, I know you got power, but you don't hit like a strong cruiserweight. Who's told him that? Crazy. Look, Javonte Davis should just focus on the work he's got on the weekend. Hector, Luis Garcia. Look, I mean, we want to see these fights, man. I feel like I get tired talking about Javonte, Shakur, Javonte Devon, Javonte Ryan even, which we hope will happen in the summer. I just want to see it. But for now, let's see what Javonte can do against Hector, Luis Garcia. Hopefully his mind is fully on the job. Obviously, we all know what happened last week, was it, with the situation with his baby mother. Hopefully he's fully focused because, again, it's a banana skin. I'm telling you now, it's a banana skin. And if you watch Javonte Davis's recent fights, he gets touched. He does. Don't get me wrong, he gets to you, but it's not easy work. It's not easy work. Frank Warren says Fury Joshua unlikely for 2023. Would match Joyce or Dubois with Joshua in a heartbeat. Of course you would. Why wouldn't you? Joe Joyce would be a very competitive fight with AJ, but it's a big money fight. So that means a bit more money in the pocket for Frank Warren. And Daniel Dubois is a big money fight. Any fight with AJ, regardless of where you guys think he is a big money fight. So of course you'd put 2 of you guys in there with him. Joshua would absolutely obliterate Daniel Dubois. Obliterate him. Joe Joyce would obviously be a bit more competitive. Very competitive. I just hope Frank has a good plan for Daniel Dubois for 2023. Like an end game or an end goal for 2023, which hopefully ends with him fighting a top 15 guy. But some real build him up fights, because again, I'm still not quite sure about Daniel Dubois. I wish him all the luck in the world. Great kid, but I don't know. I'm not quite sure. Eddie Hearn, Canelo wants rematch with Bivol. Discussion really is, does that take place at 175 or 168? If he really wanted the rematch, he could have ran it back immediately. He could have ran it back. He didn't have to fight GGG. He could have ran that back immediately and done it in September. We'll see, because there's been a lot of talk about him wanting, not a gimme, but him wanting a fight, because obviously I think he's had hand surgery and he wants something almost before a Bivol. We'll see what he does. I want to see it again. I would love to see it at 168. I mean, I think the ego that Canelo has will say, let's run it back at 175. You beat me at 175. Let's go again at 175. The smart thing, and this is for Eddie and Eddie Reynoso and other people around him, will be to say, okay, try and drain Bivol to 168. Bivol's not the biggest light heavyweight, but regardless, someone that's been fighting at 175 all his career, I think, to tell him to get down to 168 will still be a problem for him. So if I'm Canelo, that's what we do. That's what we do. We don't fight this guy again at 175. He's beat you once. He's full of confidence right now. He'll go into that fight again. For me, I say again, but this time he'll go in as a big favourite. Big favourite? Favourite. He'll go in as a favourite. It does remind me a bit of Conor McGregor when he fought Nate Diaz at 170. Now, Conor McGregor, I don't know if you guys know, at the time was a 155 guy. 145, I think 155 guy. The smart money would have been to say to Nate, we're fighting again, but this time not at 170 because you looked big. We're going down to 155. Conor was like, fuck that, run it back at 170. And he won just. And he got a lot of pats on the back for doing that. I don't know if Canelo should go down that road. I think he should try and drain him down to 168. And if you're Bivol, you're probably thinking, I wouldn't mind going 168. Again, I spoke about the fact that he could become undisputed at 168 and then potentially fight Beterbiev at 175 undisputed. So if you're Bivol, maybe you do want to go down to 168. I do wonder what they do next with Bivol. With Canelo, you keep hearing the name John Ryder. It looks like they're going to go down that route. With Bivol, we're not hearing anything. Obviously, Beterbiev's got the Anthony Yard fight. I do wonder if there is a Buatsi-Bivol announcement coming soon. This is just me sort of throwing it out there. I don't know. People might think that's me saying it's fact. I don't know. But we're not hearing about Buatsi and we're not hearing about Bivol. We're hearing about Canelo, John Ryder. We're not hearing about what those guys are doing. There's been a lot of talk for a few years about Buatsi-Bivol. There's been some talk about Buatsi, Callum Smith. I don't think they're going to do that in-house fight. There was talk, I said the other day, about Callum Smith, Lyndon Arthur. I think Callum Smith's going to fight someone separate. I think, and I wouldn't mind to see it as well. Again, if Canelo Bivol isn't going to happen straight away, I would love to see Bivol Buatsi. I think Buatsi could cause him some problems. I'd favour Bivol just because I think he is that good right now, but Buatsi will cause him problems. But yeah, look, 175 or 168. If it's me, it's a 168 fight. If I'm Bivol, 168. If I'm Canelo, 168. I think this fight will happen at 168 pounds. Eddie Hearn says Conor Benn will resume his career in 2023. Wants to match him against Eubank or Tank. Yeah, I don't know about either of those matchups. I think the Eubank one now is a big problem. Obviously, it's still a lot of money. Eubank has not said no to it, right? I think if you're Callie Sauerland and Eubank, you kind of know what money was on the table last time. And some people might even say it could be even bigger this time because of what's happened. But the biggest problem will be that rehydration clause and the catch weight. I don't now believe that Eubank will agree to not fight at anything sort of below 160. I can't see him doing it this time. And he certainly isn't going to accept any rehydration clause. So is Conor Benn going to fight Eubank at 160? That's the problem. With regards to this Tank thing, Tank will never fight Conor Benn. That just ain't happening. I just can't see how that happens. Yeah, I'd be very, very shocked. I know Tank's fought at 140, but Tank's a small guy. He's a very, very small guy. It's funny because all those other guys in and around him, I think, will eventually get to 147. Devon will get to 147. Shakur is going to get to 147. Teofimo Lopez will get to 147. Javonte just doesn't have the frame for 147. So the idea of him versus Conor Bennett 147 just isn't happening. Let's be brutally honest. Jaron Ennis fights this weekend. It'd be good to see how he looks. Dmitry Andrade fights this weekend. Javonte Davis fights this weekend. Although I don't know if we're going to do a Saturday live, we are 100% going to do a Sunday session live just to talk about all those fights. Very interested to see how Dmitry Andrade looks. I think this fight's at 168. Jaron Ennis has been speaking a lot about wanting Furman or Spence. Let's see how he looks as well. But yeah, it's good that they're all... It's like there's no pause with boxing anymore, is there? There used to be a time when you felt like boxing was... It would start in January and end in August, September. Now it's just a yearly sport, which it should be. I still feel like boxing needs to be a daily sport. I don't. Every other sport is every day. I don't know why boxing just seems to be this weekend thing at 10 p.m. Like, I mean, they've trialed sort of fights now on a Friday and a Sunday, and reception's been good. Why can't it just be Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday? Why is every event a Saturday? I honestly don't understand it. Really baffles me. People will turn up, as we've seen with football and other sports, NBA, NFL. People will turn up, bums on seats if the events are good. Put good events on, and boxing should be, again, every single weekday. And I don't know why that's not been trialled yet. Ben Shalom was with me today. He came into TalkSport Studios. I was covering, I don't know if you guys follow TalkSport, but I've been covering the Simon Jordan, Jim White show all week. And they have a boxing section every Thursday for an hour with Spencer Oliver. And today's guest also with us was Ben Shalom. Nice guy, very nice guy. I spoke to him before, but not really in detail like we spoke today. There's a couple of things he said. I kind of asked him about the pay-per-view model. And I asked him, so why can't pay-per-views, like why is it always $19.95 or $25.95 or even $26.95? Why can't there be £10 pay-per-views? Like if a fight has to go on pay-per-view because that's the only way to pay the fighters, why don't you just, okay, that's not a £20 pay-per-view, but it could be a £10 one. And he's pretty much just saying like, that almost won't work because the fighters basically get paid a lot of money. That's kind of what he said. We were talking about the Eubank Liam Smith fight, and I think that's a good fight card. I'm still not convinced about Jack Massey, and I aired it to him versus Joseph Parker, but I like everything else. I like Iko Usman versus Chris Kongo on that card. I like Riakporhe versus Glowacki, and I'm sure there's going to be a couple more in there as well. But he did say on air that Josh Taylor, Jack Catterall, we didn't 100% admit it, but I think he said it's going to be pay-per-view. So that fight will be pay-per-view. And again, I pushed him on why that would be pay-per-view, and he basically said, and I didn't know this was common knowledge, I don't think it was, but he said that Josh Taylor was offered a lot of money, like 4 or 5 million, I think he said, to fight Teofimo Lopez. Top Rank put an offer in. Josh turned it down because he really wants to, some might even say, avenge the defeat to Jack Catterall. So in order to kind of say to Josh, okay, look, turn that down because we want to run it back with Jack Catterall, they had to kind of offer him a lot of money in order to do that. And the only way, again, they could recoup that was by putting it on pay-per-view. Do I think it's a pay-per-view fight? I don't know if it's a pay-per-view fight that will do good numbers. I do think it will start to build. I think Johnny Nelson will do a great face-off. Those two fighters hate each other. So I think the face-off will be good, and then we'll see what the Sky Sports machine can do. But yeah, that's going to be pay-per-view. So, you know, Sky is starting early with the pay-per-views. Again, Liam Smith, Eubank, Josh Taylor, Jack Catterall. What else will be pay-per-view through the year? But yeah, back to Ben Shalom. Really cool guy. I can't think of a bad thing to say about him. And I think he's done well as well. I didn't even know who this guy was a year and a bit ago. And he's come into what is the Wild Wild West. And I didn't think Sky would survive. Honestly, there was a stage when I thought maybe boxing's done on Sky, but he's been able to kind of spend a lot of money. I'm guessing he's got real big backers, take a lot of good fighters, some, as we know, from Matchroom, and he's doing well, and he's got a big 2023 planned. What's this one? Regis Prograde doesn't think highly of Ryan Garcia. Ryan would be a cakewalk. Don't got that dog. Ryan certainly has that dog. You know what it is about Ryan? It's his look. Honestly, I swear to God, I kind of remember it from the Oscar days. I'm old enough to remember. Obviously, Oscar had a bit more pedigree because he's an Olympic gold medalist, but it's almost like you don't think they've got dog because the way they look. You know what I mean? Little pretty boy. He's got dog. Ryan has dog in him. He does. And he showed me a lot when he got off the canvas against Luke Campbell. I think people are underestimating Ryan Garcia. I'm not trying to say Ryan's going to be, you know, like the way I feel Shakur Stevenson will be, but Ryan won't be easy work for anyone. And he can hit. He's grown into the weight. He's confident. He seems to be his own man now that he stepped away from Eddie Reynoso and Canelo. Like, Ryan ain't no joke, you know. I think people need to stop sleeping on him. What else is there? A bit here about Joseph Parker. Vels the batter, Jack Massey. Hope's win leads to big fights. I'm still very shocked that he's come back this quick, if I'm honest with you. I think he took a beating from Joe Joyce, and I thought he might sit out until maybe the summer. So maybe that's why they've come back with, no disrespect to Massive, but come back with maybe a softer touch than what we're used to seeing with Joseph Parker. Alexis Rocha to headline January 28th card on DAZN in Greater Los Angeles area. Alexis Rocha's one to look out for in the welterweight division. I mean, I spoke to him. What card did I do? I done a Munguia card. I can't remember who he fought. He fought the kid, the Irish kid from Manchester. I can't remember his name. And I spoke to Alexis, and he was like saying, you know, we wanted the Conor Ben fight. That's the kind of, you know, fight we were looking for. So that's a potential opponent down the line for Conor Ben. He's almost, so obviously you've got Virgil Ortiz and you've got Jaron Ennis, and everyone thinks those two are the future. And then you've got just below that, and look, we still don't know what's going to go on with Conor Ben, but just below that you have Alexis Rocha and Conor Ben, and a few other names as well coming through. Anything else? Adrian Broner believes exhibition with Mayweather would generate huge money. Dude, like, Mayweather is 45. That's why he's having exhibitions. The idea of you even talking about exhibitions when you have this stop-start career, pause that for now. Please, just pause it for now. Try and get in some sort of shape, and let's see what you can do. Let's see if there's anything left whatsoever for you at 140 pounds. Talk about these exhibitions when it's all said and done, please. Jesus Christ, man. All right, let's have a quick look and see if there's anything else floating around on social media before we pack in. I think I saw something about Bam. Did I see something about Bam Rodriguez and him having a fight? Let's have a look. Why did I think I saw something about Bam? Okay, Bam Rodriguez will meet Christian Gonzalez for the WBO's vacant flyweight title on April 8th in San Antonio. So who's this Christian Gonzalez? Obviously that means Bam going, I'll say back down to flyer. Bam was a light flyweight. Let's not forget he jumped up 2 weight classes when he took on Quadras. I don't know who this Christian Gonzalez is though. I've never heard of him. Just going to have a quick look before we go and see what his record is. Is this the kid, Christian Gonzalez? No, it can't be this kid that's 19-4. Can't be. So, you know how many Christian Gonzalez's there are on BoxRec? Jesus Christ. Is it this one? Okay, BoxRec's decided to pack in on me. All right, guys, let's end it there anyway. But Bam is back April 8th. Obviously, last year he had a fantastic year. 3 fights last year. Hopefully, we see something similar this year as well. Hopefully, there are big fights for him against the likes of Martinez, and the big one for me in the division, Sonny Edwards. That's the one we want to see. That'll be good. And Sonny's the type of person that would go to America and wouldn't feel any way, no fear whatsoever. And I think Sonny's very, very underrated. All right, guys, girls, peace and love.